you may have asked yourself the question, what would it be like to play a 1980s arcade fighting game with full body tracking and virtual reality? Well, Knockout League seeks to answer that question by bringing Punch-Out, the 1984 classic, to the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. And just like the 80s classic, you're going to be swearing at the in-game characters whilst jumping up and down. What really stands out with Knockout League is just simply how polished it is. The user interface, the characters, the environment all come together to deliver something that's just pleasant to interact with. Now, having said that, this can also be an incredibly frustrating game to play. That's not really a fault of the developers, it's more in line with the Punch-Out style gameplay, in that most of the gameplay revolves around trying to identify the opponent's animations, predict them, and then learn how to respond to them. Also, it's worth saying that the game is very much on the arcade side, in that you have to play the game how it wants to be played, rather than put your own creativity into your counter-attacks and blocking moves. It's very much not a simulator, which in fairness is made clear by the graphical style and the overall execution of the title. Despite it being arcadey, it's still a very active and in some ways quite precise game. Glancing down at our fitness monitor whilst playing this, I noticed that our heart rate had gone up to 150 BPM over our normal 60 or so. We also found that it only took around 20 minutes of playing before we started to work up quite a significant sweat, and you especially get quite active when it comes to the later stages of the various characters. Though, as we said, the hand tracking and movement in the game is really precise, there are moments in the game where sometimes collisions don't occur quite as you would expect, especially when it comes to blocking some of your opponent's faster attacks. This can be avoided by the player though by doing more active dodges and physically moving out of the way, where I think the game actually does a really good job of keeping it fair for the player whilst also making the game a challenge. One thing that they've done really well though is that the actual punches and impact of those punches feel really visceral through the combination of a little bit of vibration as well as a really nice meaty, chunky thump sound effect each time you make contact with your opponent. Being critical of the game, I think the worst thing you could say about it is that it only has 4 opponents, and once you've learnt their animations and the way they attack, it's not as much of a challenge. Realistically, in its current early access state at the date this video was uploaded, you're probably going to get about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay from this, though it will be very sweaty and very enjoyable gameplay. When the game comes out of early access, we'll do a follow-up review and see how things have changed, and it's worth saying the developer has already done a couple of updates, polishing the gameplay itself and making things just feel smoother to play at a basic level.
1, 2, 3.
If you enjoyed this video review though, don't forget to click the subscribe button, it's right on the screen there. Drop us a comment if you have any questions. You've been listening to James on VR Bump. Until tomorrow's video, goodbye everybody.